The following presentation addresses the question of the importance of socially shared convictions, values, and lifestyles in transformation processes of individuals, social groups, companies, and organizations. Erich Fromm made a significant contribution to this with his concept of social character, especially in the field of coaching, consulting, and therapy. Transformation is usually seen as an interaction between individuals or between individuals and groups of individuals. The fact that both sides are guided by socially required and promoted notions of what is normal and desirable is generally not considered, nor is a fact that the two sides have quite different understandings of what is normal and reasonable. With his concept of social character, Erich Fromm took this social dimension in every transformation process into account. Our thinking, feeling, and acting is to a large extent determined by inner neuronal or psychological structural formations, which can have a promoting or inhibiting influence. Erich Fromm's idea was to assume that a psychological structure formation occurs in every human being by which the individual adapts to the socio-economic possibilities and requirements. This adaptation by assimilation and socialization has two main effects. It leads to internalization so that they themselves strive to what individuals are supposed to do for social reasons. And in this way, the individual can feel that he or she belongs to a social group. Because this psychological structure formation is relatively constant and consistent, Fromm viewed it as character formation in a psychoanalytical sense and spoke of a social character. The social character explains why people think, feel, and act similarly. This is precisely why it plays a crucial role in all transformation processes. Before discussing Fromm's social psychoanalytic approach in more detail, his life will at least be sketched very briefly. Fromm was born in Frankfurt am Main in the year 1900 and grew up as an only child in an Orthodox Jewish family. After 2 semesters of law, Fromm studied sociology with Alfred Weber in Heidelberg from 1919. In his dissertation of 1922, he examined the question of the significance of the practiced Jewish law for the cohesion of Jews being and living in the diaspora. In 1923, he became acquainted with Sigmund Freud's psychoanalysis through his girlfriend Frieda Reichmann. After psychiatric studies in Munich, he completed training as a psychoanalyst in Berlin and opened a practice there. Starting in 1930, Fromm worked with Horkheimer at the Institute for Social Research in Frankfurt as department head for psychoanalysis, and he did so until 1939. There he developed the concept of the authoritarian character and conducted the first empirical study on it. Fromm spent the years 1931 to 1934 in Davos, Switzerland, due to pulmonary tuberculosis. There he developed his social psychological theory as a combination of Marxism and psychoanalysis. In 1934, Fromm emigrated from Davos to the United States. In 1936, Fromm turned away from Freudian instinct theory and developed his own theory of relatedness, a sort of attachment theory. In 1941, he published the book Escape from Freedom. With it, he became known in the United States as a psychoanalyst of society. In 1950, Fromm moved to Mexico because of his wife's illness and lived there with his main residence until 1973. At the same time, he spent 3 to 4 months each year in the United States and became deeply involved in politics in the United States. In Mexico, Fromm wrote works on the alienation of man and on the socio-economic preconditions of a mentally healthy man in his book The Sane Society. There he also conducted an empirical study on the social character of a Mexican village. He developed the concept of biophilia and necrophilia and published on narcissism and group narcissism in the book The Heart of Man. This was followed by research on human destructiveness in his book The Anatomy of Human Destructiveness. After a heart attack at the end of 1966, Fromm spent summers in Europe, and from 1973 onward, he lived all year in Locarno. There, the book To Have or To Be was written, and I was Fromm's assistant from 1974. On March 18 in 1980, Fromm died of a 4th heart attack in Locarno.